Folks, here's a quick video on how to get some pickups in your game, like coins or gems or something like that, keys, whatever. We are going to right click down here in the gray space and make a new blueprint. If this is your first time, welcome. And we're going to make a new actor type. This is the most basic, simplest blueprint we can make, and I'm going to call it Pickup 1. You can call it coins, gems, whatever you want. It's probably going to be a coin. To edit the blueprint, I double click this and it opens up. I have a viewport, a construction script, which we rarely use, and an event graph for the code. We're going to first assemble our object's appearance and parts in the viewport. In a minute, we'll go add its code in the event graph. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to add. I think you can right click also. Nope. Yeah, you can do stuff down here. We're going to add a new static mesh. Now, if this was an animated object like a character, we'd use a skeletal mesh. I can add some basic shapes and stuff, but I want to add a static mesh, and you'll see why. I'm going to leave this called static mesh. You could change the name and call it appearance or object or mesh or something like that, but on the right side, you'll see what an Unreal static mesh looks like. If you had multiple static meshes, you could name them better for a weapon or a attachment or 1, 2, 3 or something like that. But we're just going to have one. We can change the mesh's appearance and size and scale and stuff, but we can also change the actual mesh here. I'm going to click down from the list. If you have a mesh you would like to use, you can find them on the internet. They're usually FBX files or OBJ files. You can drag those into your content down here. In our case, we're going to try to find an existing static mesh that came with Unreal's default. I believe there's a cylinder here, which we can resize to look like a coin. So I'm going to choose a cylinder. I'm going to get the scale tool and shrink it down from the top. And maybe get the rotate tool and turn it a little bit. I can tell already that I've kind of messed up the material. It looks really stretchy and stuff, so that was probably a bad idea. There are other ways to make a different static mesh. You can make them in Blender or other 3D software. And we can also use Unreal's simple tools to make one, but this is the good static mesh for now. The cool thing is we can just swap the static mesh later and choose from a list, and I could go swap this to, no banana in this project, but any other object. Let's go give this a material. I'm going to right click in the gray space and make a new green material here. I'm going to call this Yeller. I like to misspell things, so I know that I made it. If everything's spelled correctly, it looks like somebody else made it. So I'm going to double click on that material, and I'm going to hold down the number 3 and click, and that's a 3 vector. If you right click and type vector, oh gosh, what is it? A 3 color blend. I can't remember what it's called. Constant 3 vector, that's what it is. If you come over here, you can click in the color, double click, and you can choose yellow, and you can choose the saturation and all the red, green, and blue values and hue, saturation, and value if you prefer, or just choose in these 2 color sliders and hit OK. And you'll hook the main color channel up to the base color, and you have a really simple material, and hopefully you learn how to make cooler materials later, but this is a good basic start. Save that bad boy, and I will close out. And now, I can't drag this on top of here, but I can open up my pickup and choose the material on the list. And I remember it was called Yeller. And you can find other materials there too if you'd like. Some of them might not work. They might not be set up for meshes. But Yeller will definitely work. So let's go there. And that's a good start. Let's go add a collision object to this, and I'm going to go down and scroll, and it should be under, where the heck is it? Too many objects. I'm going to type COLL. I got under collision, I got box, capsule, and sphere. Most common is the sphere collision. We'll add that. And because I didn't resize my cylinder smaller, it's quite a small collision sphere. If you hover over it, it should say sphere, sphere collision to remind you that this is a collider. I'm just going to resize that with the scale tool and make the, oops, that's the move tool. What's going on? There we go. I'm going to resize it, not that, and make this bigger than the coin. All right, the pickup. Let's compile or save that, and now we should be able to drag one of these coins out in the scene. Now I'm going to drag a couple more out in a minute. I'm going to move this in front of my spawn point so I can always just run straight toward it. And right now it doesn't do anything. Let me just point out, if we went and changed the material or change the size or anything like that, let's actually do that. I'm going to click on the static mesh and change the materials real quick. And I don't know what a good one is. Vive controller, blue vertex, shoot, so many. That guy right there. That one looks pretty cool. Now if I go compile this, every copy or clone I have of that will inherit all the changes. So that's one cool thing about blueprints. It's like a template. It's literally a blueprint, like for a house, that will let you change it. Now, even though you can make changes to the actual blueprint itself, each of these copies or clones has its own properties that you can come to it in the details menu, and you can say, well, I want this particular one to have a different static mesh or a different material, and you could change that. Even though the main version has certain properties. So pretty cool thing about blueprints. Now, this blueprint is pretty, I guess, but it has no brains. So we're going to go back to the blueprint and get off of the viewport. We're not always about the eye candy. We want to skip the construction script and go over to the event graph. There's another way to get there. If you double click on the event graph events, you can see the ones that are most common that are already built into the event graph for this object. You can also find more built-in events over, if you scroll down to the bottom of the details menu here, you'll see a bunch of, if I click this or release it, a bunch of red events. The one I want is called event actor begin overlap. If I double click that, it'll teleport me to the event graph, or if you can't find it, you can right click and type begin overlap or something like that. If you try to add an event that already exists, it won't let you. You can only have one of each. And if you want to do more than one thing, you'll have to chain them together off of the single event called actor begin overlap. Let's go do the simplest thing we can. I'm going to drag off here and type print, and I'll leave it hello. I'll say hi mom. Save it, run it, play it, and let's go touch one of these coins. Boom, hi mom. Boom, hi mom. And that is a simple collision event. And why does that work? Because of this collision sphere that's around this object, plus this event actor begin overlap, and it does that. Well, let's go do something more interesting. Let's go collect coins. Okay, now debate on the order to do this, but I think the easiest place to collect coins, I could do it in the level blueprint. If you do everything in the level blueprint, you'll have to keep track of every coin that you add out in the level blueprint, and that could be a big pain. So I'm going to actually track the player's score rather than the level blueprint. Let's do it on the third person player. Okay, I'm going to go in content, third person blueprints, and I'm going to double click on the third person character, ignore all of this scary movement stuff, find some empty space at the bottom, and actually it doesn't matter because we're going to go make a new variable on the left side over here. I'm going to hit plus. I'm going to call it coins or pickups or keys or gems or whatever you're making. Boolean variables are true false. Hopefully you'll hear some of that in your programming sections. But we're going to switch this to a whole number, an integer, and it's got to have that light color right there. Now, if I can't change the coins to 0, that's what it should be at when the game starts, until I compile, and now it defaults to 0, and you could change that if you wanted to start with health or some other number than 0. Okay, so I got 0 coins in my third person character. The nice thing about this is if I have 3 or 4 characters, they will all get their own coins also. It'll belong to each different third person character, all right? Now, let's go back to the pickups, and let's go play a sound when I touch this. Okay, so again, I've opened the pickup. When I begin overlap, let's play sound. And I am going to play sound at location for now, and it's going to be 0, 0, 0, the middle of the map. And you can choose a sound. If you want to download your own WAV, W-A-V sounds, you can drag them into this asset content browser, and you could choose them from this list. I believe there's an explosion somewhere that's fun to use. We can choose explosion 1 and 2 or the Q, and we'll talk about Qs later, but I'm going to choose explosion. No, I'm going to choose the Q. You'll see why. Qs are better. And every time I touch a cube, it'll play the explosion sound. Just trust me on that. Well, let's do it. Don't trust me. So what do we want to do when we touch a cube, a coin? We want to add to the player's coin count and not be able to cheat. Let's go do that. So here's how we could cheat. Okay, I'm going to Well, you could go back and forth, obviously. The coin needs to destroy. I could go in and out of the collision and get coin, coin, coin. Let me show you something that's kind of cheating also. You could have something else pick up your coin for you. I'm going to go bump this cube. Ooh, and it doesn't trigger. Okay. I really thought it would. Okay. We'll try to explore that. That'd be a dumb thing to do in this video. I'm guessing this cube doesn't have collision events enabled. Let's go turn on overlap events for the cube and hit play again. Yeah, that's all it was. So now the cube can overlap, and I can cheat. I can use the cube to collect coins. Well, let's go fix it, okay? First thing I want to do is only play the sound. I'm going to hold down Alt by the space bar or right click this white thing to break this link. And I'm going to check first who is overlapping. I'm going to drag this out here and do a thing called casting. Cast to third person, not game mode, not character class, but the top one, third person character. Now if you're using a different character like a first person or a VR character or a Paragon character or something like that, you'd want to use the class of your main character. But we need to check if the other actor that overlapped my coin was a third-person character. If it failed, we could print a message here that that was some other object, like the cube or something like that. Instead, I'm going to drag off here, and this is the true part. It means this was a third-person character, so now I know that I've collided with a coin, or sorry, a player. I'm going to play the sound, and now let's go add to our coin count. Okay, now here's the hard part, is how do blueprints talk to other blueprints? This coin pickup is its own class. It doesn't have any connection to other things like the character or anything like that unless there's a place to find it. And right here we're lucked out because we have access to the other actor, the other Unreal object that collided with us. And how do we get access to the coins variable inside the BP third person character class? Well, luckily enough, we have BP third person character right here. So we're going to drag off here and type get coins. And that's any variable name that we want to get. We could get it. Keys, gems, whatever. Ammo, health. We could fetch it by making sure we have access to the third person character and then typing get. If we want to set that variable, we use the set set coins. There's an easy hack though. There's a long way to do this in an easy way. And in this video, I'm just going to show you the easy way. We're going to get coins, and we are going to drag off of the colored integer color. Remember this, that light green color is an integer. And we're going to go type plus plus. That's right by the backspace, shift equals equals, and it's called increment integer. And what that does is it gets the coin variable from our third person character and pluses 1 to it. Well, this won't work unless we chain these together, so let's hook this up. We're going to play the sound, add 1 to our coins, and we're going to print string. It's the top one. Sorry, I should have slowed down. We're going to print, instead of hello, we're going to print coins. This little converter comes up automatically. It turns a green thing into a pink thing. It turns an integer, a whole number, into a string. If you've had a little programming, and hopefully you have, you should know what an integer and a string are. Encoding a string is just any kind of text, numbers, characters, anything you can type in a text message. And we're going to print the coin count. Now I'm going to actually do something a little more obvious. I'm going to go a thing called, what is it, append string append. I'm going to go string plus. Nope. String append. There we go. This guy's a weird one. Okay, so yeah, drag off the pink and type append. We want the green F, string append. This combines two strings. If I go hi and mom, it'll combine them. Well, I want to combine the words coins, colon, space, and the coin count. Why? Well, you'll see in just a minute, okay? This is getting kind of long and ugly. I'm going to slide some of this over a bit. I'm going to drag over those. There we go. It's a little bit cleaner. That way I can slide this back. Before I do anything else, I'm going to scroll out and drag a box over all these things. And I'm going to hold down shift. Nope. I'm going to move this one out of the way. Drag a box and get all these. Nothing else. Hit C. And I'm going to call this coin pickup. This is the C, letter C that makes a comment. It lets you put a label on a block of code just for your own benefit so you can remind yourself what this block does. All right. I've played a sound. I might need to expand this side a little bit. I'm going to drag this out. Compile it. If there's errors, let's fix them. And we'll hit play. And notice that now I don't get the explosion because it's checking for a third-person character, the robot. Boom, boom, coins 2, coins 3. And notice it's quiet over here. I'm further away from the center of the level. That's kind of hokey. But I'm getting 10 coins and I'm cheating. There's only 2 coins in the level. So what do I want to do after I pick up the coin and play the sound and print the coin count? I want to drag off here, DEST, destroy actor. And I actually want to destroy myself. Who is that? The self is the name at the top here. That's the pick up the coin. Okay. What I don't like is the play sound at location. It's a little bit cheesy. We need to find, I'm going to type into get actor location. We want to find the self, our own pickup one's location, and drag this and plug it in so it doesn't play the sound at 000. It'll play it wherever that object is. And I want to do one more thing. I want to, before I destroy the actor, I'm going to snip this. I'm going to do a thing called spawn emitter. Okay, at location. A little bit scary. It popped up a big block. I'm going to move these a little bit and rearrange this. And I know that part's not necessarily fun. Alright, I've rearranged this a little bit. I'm going to scoot this spawn emitter, connect it to destroy actor, and make sure it's hooked up to print string. I'm going to choose an emitter here, and I believe I want the explosion. I really like that one. That's as built in, just like the explode sound comes with our default project. The emitter P explosion is also included. I'm going to save all this and go hit play, and let's go see if this bad boy works. Touch it. Okay, and it destroys a little too quickly. This thing is gone. Oh, it doesn't have a location. Ha ha ha. We could make another one of these. We could right-click and type get actor location, but I'm going to do a little hack. I'm going to drag this clear over at this location. Hopefully you can see that yellow arrow going through, or yellow line, and we'll hit play again. Let's see if it actually plays at the right place. Boom. A little bit cheesy, but pretty cool for what for the work we put in. We're going to make it a little bit better in the next one, but we'll see you then. Oh, and if you need a screenshot of this, I will put it in the folder right next to this video for the coin pickup. And just remember, we added a coin integer to the third-person character blueprint, and the rest is all found right here. And we assembled everything in the viewport and added some a static mesh component and a sphere collision component to finish it off. We'll see you in the next one.